When it comes to legendary actors, Michael J. Fox is a name that makes people smile right away. People admire him not just for his famous movie roles, but for his strength, his humor, and how gracefully he's handled Parkinson's disease. But even at 64 years old, with an amazing career that speaks for itself, Fox recently made news for a surprising and very honest statement. There's someone he doesn't want coming to his funeral. Who could it be, and why? Stay with us because this story is much deeper than you might think. Michael Fox has been making people laugh and feel emotions for over 40 years. From the moment he jumped onto our TV screens as Alex P. Keaton in Family Ties, there was something special about him. He wasn't just another good-looking face in Hollywood. He had great timing, tons of charm, and that rare quality that made you feel like you actually knew him. Like he could be your friend or your brother or that cool guy from high school who everyone really liked. Born in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada on June 9, 1961, Fox didn't start out as a star. He was just a regular kid from a military family who moved around all the time. His father was a career soldier, which meant the Fox family never lived in one place for very long. Michael grew up in different Canadian towns, never really settling down anywhere, always being the new kid. Maybe that's what made him so good at connecting with people. When you're always the outsider, you learn how to make friends fast. He dropped out of high school at 15 to chase his dream of acting. Think about that for a second. 15 years old. And he was so sure about what he wanted to do with his life that he was willing to risk everything on it. His parents thought he was being crazy. Of course they did. What parent wants their teenager to quit school to chase a dream that almost never works out? But Fox moved to Los Angeles with barely any money in his pockets, living on cheap macaroni and cheese and hope. He was so broke that he couldn't even afford furniture. He slept on a mattress on the floor and used a phone book as his pillow. He did small roles, quick appearances on shows, whatever work he could find. 4 years, he barely got by. Going to auditions, getting told no, going to more auditions. Then came Family Ties in 1982 and everything changed in an instant. Family Ties made Michael Fox famous across America, but it was Back to the Future that made him a legend forever. Here's a wild fact. He almost didn't get that role. The producers first chose Eric Stoltz to play Marty McFly, and they filmed for several weeks before deciding it wasn't right. They let Stoltz go and called Fox, who was filming Family Ties at the same time. Fox's schedule became absolutely crazy. He would film Family Ties during the day, then rush over to the Back to the Future location and film all night long. He was sleeping maybe 2 or 3 hours each night, running on pure energy and being young and the excitement of being in something he knew would be really special. When Back to the Future came out in 1985, it became the biggest movie of the year. Suddenly, Michael Fox wasn't just a TV star anymore. He was a movie star. A real, genuine movie star. The kind of actor who could bring people to theaters just by having his name on the poster. He was everywhere you looked. Magazine covers, talk shows, awards shows. He dated actress Nancy McKeon from The Facts of Life. He was young, handsome, successful, and seemed like nothing could stop him. This was the mid-1980s. And if you were a teenage girl, or a boy for that matter, Michael Fox was probably hanging on your bedroom wall. Teen Wolf came out the same summer as Back to the Future, which meant Fox had 2 hit movies in theaters at exactly the same time. He followed that up with The Secret of My Success, Light of Day, and Bright Lights, Big City. Not all of them were huge hits, but Fox was doing amazing, and Hollywood couldn't get enough of him. The Back to the Future sequels in 1989 and 1990 made his status permanent. By this point, Fox had proven he could do comedy, drama, romance, science fiction, basically anything. He was talented in many ways, dependable, and audiences loved him. Movie studios loved him. Directors loved working with him. He had everything going for him. But here's the thing about life. It doesn't care about your plans. It doesn't matter if you're rich or famous or loved by millions of people. Bad things can happen to anyone at any time. In 1991, Michael Fox was 29 years old. He was married to Tracy Pollan, whom he had met on the set of Family Ties and married in 1988. They had just had their first baby, a son named Sam. Fox's career was going great. The future looked really bright. Then he noticed something strange. His left pinky finger was twitching. Just a small shake, barely noticeable. He figured it was from stress or being too tired. He was working all the time after all. But the twitching didn't go away. It got worse instead. His hands started shaking more. He had trouble controlling it. So he went to see a doctor, expecting to be told it was nothing serious, maybe just from working too much or a pinched nerve. Instead, after doing a bunch of tests, the doctor looked at him and said, "You have Parkinson's disease." Parkinson's? An old person's disease? Something that happened to your grandparents, not to 29-year-old movie stars at the top of their careers. Fox didn't believe it at first. He went to other doctors for second opinions, third opinions, fourth opinions, but every doctor said the same exact thing. He had young-onset Parkinson's disease, a rare type that affects people under 50 years old. It would get worse over time, there was no cure, and it would slowly take away his ability to control his body movements. The diagnosis sent Fox into a really dark place. He started drinking a lot of alcohol, trying to treat himself, trying to numb the fear and the anger and the sadness for the life he thought he would have. He could have kept quiet about it forever, could have suffered without telling anyone, but the stress of hiding it was destroying him from the inside. For 7 years, Fox didn't tell anyone outside his closest family about his diagnosis. He kept working, starring in movies and TV shows, all while hiding the shaking that was getting harder and harder to hide. He came up with tricks to hide what was happening to him. If his hand was shaking, he would stick it in his pocket or hold on to something. He would take his medicine at just the right times so that during filming the shaking would be less noticeable. He would change how he acted, adding movements that hid the shaking. In some ways, it was the greatest performance of his life, pretending to be healthy when he was falling apart inside. He starred in the TV series Spin City, starting in 1996, playing Mike Flaherty, a fast-talking deputy mayor of New York City. The role needed him to be energetic, physical, and quick-paced. It was exhausting, and the Parkinson's was getting harder and harder to hide. Sometimes between filming scenes, his co-stars would notice the shaking. But Fox would brush it off, make a joke, and change the topic. The drinking got worse. Fox has been completely honest about this in interviews and in his books. He was drinking to calm the shaking, to take the edge off, to deal with knowing that his body was betraying him. He was still functioning. He never missed work, never showed up drunk, but he was destroying himself in private. Tracy Pollan, his wife, stayed with him through all of it. They had 3 more children during this time. Twin daughters Aquina and Skylar in 1995 and daughter Esme in 2001. Fox has said that his family was what kept him going, what gave him a reason to keep fighting. In 1998, Fox decided he couldn't hide it anymore. He told the world about his diagnosis during an interview with Barbara Walters, and the response was incredible. People didn't turn away from him or feel sorry for him. They supported him. They admired his bravery, his honesty, his refusal to let the disease control who he was. He left Spin City in 2000, and his co-stars gave him an emotional goodbye. Charlie Sheen took over the main role, and the show made a special episode about Fox leaving. It was the end of an era. But Fox wasn't finished with Hollywood. He made guest appearances on shows like Scrubs, Boston Legal, Rescue Me, and The Good Wife, often playing versions of himself or characters dealing with Parkinson's. He showed the world that he could still act, still bring something special to a role, even with the shaking and the medicine and the physical problems. Living with Parkinson's isn't like living with a broken bone that gets better or a cold that goes away. It's always there with you, always needing attention. Fox has described it as mysterious and unpredictable. Some days are better than others. Some moments the problems are manageable, and other times they're overwhelming. The shaking is what people see most, but it's far from the only problem. Parkinson's affects balance, making it really easy to trip and fall down. It affects how you speak, sometimes making it hard for people to understand you. It causes stiffness in the muscles, making movements slow and hard. It can mess with sleep, mood, memory, and thinking. Fox takes medicine to manage the problems, but the medicine itself causes other problems. Levodopa, the main drug used to treat Parkinson's, can cause dyskinesia, jerky movements you can't control that can be just as disruptive as the shaking. It's a constant balancing act, trying to find the right amount, the right timing to make the good hours as long as possible and the bad ones as short as possible. Over the years, Fox has had multiple surgeries, including back surgery to remove a tumor that left him temporarily unable to walk. He's broken bones from falling down. He's dealt with infections, complications, setbacks. Each time he's fought his way back. He's also had to give up things he loves doing. He can't play guitar anymore. His fingers won't cooperate. He can't type easily. Simple tasks that most people don't think twice about. Buttoning a shirt, tying shoes, cutting food, take concentration and effort. But Fox hasn't let the disease take everything away. He still has his sense of humor. He still has his mind, sharp as ever. He still has his family and his friends, and he still has his mission, finding a cure for Parkinson's. The Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research has become one of the most important organizations in the fight against the disease. Since it started in 2000, it has paid for over $1.5 billion in research, making it the largest non-profit funder of Parkinson's research in the world. Fox threw himself into the work with the same energy he once brought to acting. He spoke to Congress, asking for more money for medical research, including controversial stem cell research. He became the face of Parkinson's, using his fame to raise awareness and money. The foundation has paid for studies on everything from what causes Parkinson's genetically to possible treatments to ways to improve life for people living with the disease. Fox is really involved in the organization's work, not just as a famous face, but as someone who understands the research, asks tough questions, and pushes for results. He has written several books about his experience with Parkinson's, including Lucky Man, a memoir, Always Looking Up, The Adventures of an Incurable Optimist, A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Future, and No Time Like the Future, An Optimist Considers Mortality. The books are honest, funny, and sometimes heartbreaking. They give you a window into what it's like to live with a long-term illness while trying to keep hope and humor. Throughout his career, Fox has made close friendships with many people in Hollywood. Some of these relationships have lasted for decades, surviving the ups and downs of fame and the challenges of his illness. His Back to the Future co-star Christopher Lloyd became a friend for life. The two have gotten back together multiple times over the years for anniversary celebrations and charity events. Lloyd has spoken beautifully about Fox's courage and strength, and their love for each other is obvious whenever they appear together. Fox also stayed friends with many of his Family Ties castmates, including Meredith Baxter and Michael Gross, who played his TV parents. They've all talked about how much they learned from working with Fox, how professional and talented he was even as a young actor. From Spin City, Fox developed close bonds with several cast members.